let's have a conversation about our economy and how we can do what we can do to save it. Out of all the things that we have been experiencing with coronavirus and this pandemic that has been destroying the lives of many people, I'm not going to concentrate too much on the pandemic, but most importantly, I will concentrate on how we're being affected economically because of this. Over the past few years, our economy has been structured in a way that we're solely dependent upon China. And what that is doing is actually deteriorating our economy. When you don't have a saying in your economy, that brings you to your own demise. So, a way to restructure this is to bring our economy back home. I feel our economy has been hijacked by China. And I would say that that alone is affecting us tremendously. There's many routes that we can take because I'm sure there's many providers out there, many second sources that we can rely on other than China. And I don't want people to assume, I just want to make this clear, I don't want people to assume that I have a particular dislike for the Chinese people. No, I have a particular dislike for the Chinese government that is composed solely on totalitarianism, that is composed on hate, that is composed of the lack of freedom of expression, the lack of freedom of religion, the lack of people being themselves. And that alone takes away from so many other things. And in order for a country to be powerful and successful, yes, you need to have that kind of economic backup in order to succeed as a country and to achieve goals, aspirations, or whatever it is that you want to call it. For example, you see in this case, China has the upper hand. And when China has the upper hand, our saying is very little. And America is a country that is great. We are the greatest country on earth. And I'm sure everyone would agree with that. When you have a nation creating biological weapons such as COVID-19, and that is the case here, you see China creating these kind of weapons, you realize that, oh bummer, these people can actually truly break us in any second. So you realize that the ability to have economic affluency allows them to do and undo whenever they want to, and there's no sense of what is ethical, what is unethical, and you can tell that these people cannot hold power because when they hold power, they're in it to destroy the entire humanity. China, as a communist country, is becoming too powerful, and that power is granted to them through the advantage of having that kind of financial liberty. The United States from the beginning was well aware that China was a communist country. However, it chose to invest in it. It chose to invest in the social and economic growth of a country that is a communist country. And when you see this issue, you say to yourself, okay, so if you promulgated this issue, I'm sure you can do something to stop it. And resolving this issue sooner than later is more convenient for the United States. Waiting 10 years from now, that would be disastrous. We need to take action today. It is up to us to initiate this change. If we don't do it, who else is going to do it? So one of the solutions would be to look for other providers. For example, we look at South America. I'm sure a lot of these manufacturing companies can expand to South America. South America would provide some kind of relief to this situation. It would also, I'm not going to get into this too much, but it would certainly help with migration in the United States. So immigration wouldn't be an issue 10 years from now, 20 or 30 years from now. It would be something that we can curb We know that high migration is an issue at this point, and by bringing jobs to South America, bringing factories to South America, we were able to achieve this. And this is something that I'm sure a lot of politicians are well aware of. They can find a solution to high migration, and I feel that we can totally control this situation. We're just not doing it. Politicians are not reinforcing this matter because it may not be convenient for them, or it may not be convenient for some of the CEOs or these manufacturing companies who are happen to be in China. See, you would certainly wouldn't go to one location to get all your groceries. I'm sure if you want cheese, you would go to the cheese factory. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but it's only an example. But you certainly wouldn't go to one location to get all your medications. You certainly wouldn't go to one location to get clothing. I'm sure we all go to different locations to get different things. We just don't count on one single provider. So if we look at this idea of looking for second-hand providers, we'll realize that China is not the only location that can provide to us. We can expand, we can grow as a country, as a union. We totally need that, because if we don't do that now, when are we going to do it? It's going to be too late, and by that time, China's going to be too powerful. A communist country that expands is certainly a threat to our democracy, to our union, and to other countries out there who see democracy as their pillar, as their sustainability. And we certainly wouldn't like communism here. We wouldn't like it anywhere. So we need to take action. So a few years ago, a Chinese operated company wanted to built something similar to the Panama Canal in El Salvador. They wanted to lease the land from the Salvadorian government for 50 years. First 50 years, and they said another 50 years if possible. So they wanted to compete with the United States. These are the things that you look at and you say to yourself, when they have power, when they have the money, when they have the dough, they're able to do these things. And we as Americans, we have to realize that this is not to our advantage. This is a communist country trying to expand. When you have a communist country trying to expand, we're certainly in danger, grave danger. These are red flags. People need to look at these things and realize that, oh yeah, we need to do something about this today, and we don't do something about it today, we're screwed, glued, and tattooed. Many people have taken for granted, including this government, has taken for granted that China is a cancer, is a very cancerous cell. And that cancerous cell is actually affecting us tremendously. Little, but it's making its mark, and it's actually deteriorating us. So we need to look for a solution. We need to look for a remedy to this whole thing. And by bringing so many manufacturing companies back, we're able to achieve this. So this is a moment of reflection. You'll realize that if we don't pull the plug from China, we're going to be in big trouble in a few years from now. This is time. This is a time for our government to kind of initiate the change, to propel those CEOs and manufacturing companies who have their headquarters in the United States, but want to reap the benefits from a communist country, to bring those companies back. We need to ensure that they do that, and if they don't, well, we're all in big trouble. The United States is a country that is well known for advertising democracy across the globe. And you say to yourself, but you basically sleep with the devil. So when do you pull the plug? Well, this is a situation that we need to analyze. We have to realize what is best for our country, what is best for our democracy, and the devil will give you, give you, give you, give you, and at some point it's going to pull the string, and that devil is China, and that's exactly what they're doing, and you just don't know when they're going to pull that cord. So you got to be on the lookout for that. So I really think that COVID-19 has been a good example of what could happen in the future if we don't take steps today. So I'll conclude with this. So if a company wants to reap the benefits of a communist country, then let them do it. However, they can rest assured that they will be marginalized, whether economically and socially. But most importantly, they should be deprived of belonging to a family called democracy.